finally just saw Angel Has Fallen, the third movie in this Has Fallen Trilogy, and now that I've finally seen all three, it is time to rank them worst to best. If you've seen all three, how would you rank these movies? Let's talk in the comments. Welcome to Durbania, I'm Durbin, and this is my ranking of the Olympus Has Fallen Trilogy, worst to best. How would you rank this trilogy? Be sure to let me know in the comments. And while you're there, hit that subscribe button to become a Durbanian and the bell by the subscribe button so you're notified for my next ranking video, our movie review, theological analysis, or anything else I do here. So, diving into this ranking. Coming in at number 3 with a B-, Olympus Has Fallen. This one falls on last place, not because I hate it. I do like it. It's a good movie. Every time I watch it, I'm entertained by it. But even right now, as I sit in front of this camera to talk about it, it's not like there's a ton of specific things that just rise to my mind to talk about. What I will say is this. Every time I watch it, I'm engaged. Every time I watch it, I'm entertained, and I'm not bored. It's not my favorite in this trilogy, and it is not a classic by any means. Die Hard is a classic action movie. And I haven't even seen that in a while, and I go, yeah, that was a great action movie. This one is like, oh yeah, kind of feels like Die Hard, but I don't walk away from this with that feel of, yeah, it's a classic action movie. But again, the pacing's good, and the cast, Gerard, Butler, Angela Bassett, Aaron Eckhart, Morgan Freeman, all these actors are great in their roles. They do a great job in this movie. So the movie keeps at a good pace. There's some good solid acting, so I enjoyed the movie for what it is. I don't really need to watch it, but if I'm bored and I want some good solid action, it's a movie that I can watch and enjoy. Coming in at number 2 with a B, the new one, Angel Has Fallen. I did enjoy this one. I saw it on the big screen today, and I like the action. I think the action is very good. We got Morgan Freeman as the president now, Tim Blake Nelson as the vice president, and then, you know, we bring in Danny Huston, and he's normally a bad guy, so right off the bat, I was like, oh, you're the bad guy. You're the guy that's gonna frame Gerard Butler. And guess what? He was! And guess what? Our bad guy who framed Gerard Butler has a boss who put him up to it, who was kind of the mastermind. You know who that was? Yes, it was the vice president. Saw that coming an absolute mile away. To me, that stuff was very predictable. But you know, Danny Huston gets revealed as the bad guy pretty early in the beginning, so it's not like this major twist. To me, there was no part of that where I was on the edge of my seat. Who's the mole? Who's the bad guy? Like, I had none of that going on, but I didn't feel like I was supposed to, you know? One of the things they did in this movie that I enjoyed was bringing in Nick Nolte, who played Mike Banning's father. Gerard Butler and Nick Nolte were pretty darn good together on screen, and bringing in his dad was a really nice little mix. It had a little bit of the emotional thing dealing with the dad, you left me, and dad saying, well, I was messed up after Nam, and it would have done you no favors for me to stay, and then them both realizing they really want the father-son relationship, and so the father committing to stay there. So it did have that nice little emotional edge, but it also had a lot of great, like, tough guy Nick Nolte action humor. He was a pretty funny character. He was a tough dude, and it was really cool to bring him in. I also liked when Morgan Freeman, as the president, wakes up from his coma and the Secret Service are being like, hey, Mike Banning, your #1 dude, has betrayed you. Morgan Freeman gave Gerard Butler's character the benefit of the doubt. So I thought that made the history pay off from the other 2 movies. So I enjoyed that. They didn't throw any extra drama where Morgan Freeman's like, oh no, he betrayed me. No, that wasn't there. So I enjoyed that. So there's a lot of things about this that I found enjoyable. Again, it's not like I'm walking out of this like, what a classic. But for a summer action film, it was a solid one. Coming in at number 1, London Has Fallen. Yeah, this one just is my favorite. We had a lot of great action sequences, a lot of fun with all of that. We get to see how smart Gerard Butler is, the way he kind of just communicates back to the White House and communicates to people secretly. So it's like really cool to see Mike Banning. It's really cool to get into his mind and see how he's thinking all of this through, and just to see him beat the ever-living tar out of people. But at the same time, to have the president and Mike Banning running through the street together, we actually get to see like their friendship in a way that we didn't get to see it in the first movie, and they had a great chemistry together. And I feel like that's what puts this movie over the edge for me, is things like that. Also, I think Angela Bassett did a great job in this movie, especially she was going to be, you know, the godmother to Mike Banning's child, and then she dies pretty early on, so it's kind of like this emotional moment in a scene that was pretty action-packed. And so again, it keeps the pace flowing, it gets you attached to the characters, it has good story. So I think of all three movies, London Has Fallen is definitely my favorite with a B+. Again, none of these hit the A range. They just didn't feel like that for me. They didn't feel like super classics. They're not movies that I have to watch again. But man, I do enjoy these movies. I think they're entertaining. But if I had all three in front of me and I had to take my pick, I'm going to pick London Has Fallen. That's the one that I would watch. What do you think of this ranking? What did you think of the Olympus Has Fallen trilogy? Let's talk about that in the comments. While you're there, hit the subscribe button to become a Durbanian and hit the bell by the subscribe button so you're notified for my next ranking video, movie review, theological analysis, or anything else I do here. I'm Durbin. Thanks for checking out Durbania.